A very good morning to all of you watching. This is Good Morning Sri Lanka on a Monday morning. Well, I know that Monday is not exactly the most excited day of the week, but don't worry, we've got a great show lined up for you as always. And with me, we've got Prami on the show. Good morning, Prami. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good, actually. Very interesting. And Monday morning, as usual, is a difficult day to wake up on.
It is when you really want to curl up and sleep a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But, well,
on today's lineup, we do have a lot of things coming your way. Starting off, we're going to be talking about one of the more gruesome mass murders to hit the headlines. It's making a comeback in the headlines recently because of the trial of Andrei Breivik, who is the Norwegian fanatic who killed 8 people in a car bomb in Oslo and went on to kill another 69, mostly teenagers, at a Labour Party summer youth camp while the police was distracted with the car bombings in Oslo. So we're going to be getting into that in a short while. Psychologists have attributed this story these mass killings towards gaming addiction, and we're going to be talking about that during the show with a guest.
That's right, Prami. So joining us on the show, we've got Pranita Tisera, who is a Montessori teacher trainer and early education expert. Welcome to the show, Pranita. Good morning to you.
Good morning to both of you.
We've also got a couple of stories from around the world, along with a special feature on Norah Jones with highlights from her brand new album.
Yes, and but starting off, we're going to be talking to Pranita Tisera about the murders, and as well as a little bit about how media influences people from a very young age. Now, that is what a major discussion about that people have been having recently, particularly with the mass murders making a headline comeback, as you can say. Now, how much do you think media influences people? Media such as television as well as gaming, and influences people and violent tendencies in children?
Prami, I would say that media has its advantages and disadvantages. And from an educationist point of view, I think we need to view these in a positive and also negative manner. When you talk about young children, I think we need to be very cautious about what we allow them to see, especially between the ages of birth to 6 years. And 3 years is a time that children actually want to watch cartoons, and they are very interested in animations and stuff like that, and then parents actually indulge them because it's more convenient for them to keep them occupied and not get them into trouble. But the sad part is that we do not actually understand the mindset of a little child and what goes on in their mind. So because of that, they tend to take in certain things which are not very good for their longer development. So because this is something that is a current problem that we all have, and media plays a huge role, I think, in terms of telecasting certain animated cartoons which are not very developmentally appropriate for the young mind of a child who is attracted to watching things like that. So we must be concerned as to what we are going to select and what we are not going to select. I mean, the media is free to have whatever it is on air, whether it's print or whether it's electronic. But what is important is parents must be intelligent enough to decide, okay, this is what I'm going to watch, allow my children to watch, this is what I'm not going to allow, and have that balance. But overall picture is between the ages from birth to 6 years, it's a crucial age for young children where parents think that the age after that is what is more concerning. But what we need to place emphasis right now is between the ages of birth to 3.
That's right. Prami, I think also we need to take a look at some of the revelations that were made during this Anders Behring Breivik's trial, where he actually gave out a lot of disturbing comments about the murder as a whole. I mean, the way he explained it, and all of it. Also, the jury was still out as to whether withdrawing from society and playing this sort of games, in particular Modern Warfare and some of the other games that he had mentioned that he was fixed onto and that he played for long hours, and how it resulted.
Yeah, during the trial it actually came out that once he had played Modern Warfare, I believe, for 17 hours straight on New Year's Eve 2010 to 2011, and games such as this Modern Warfare as well as World of Warcraft. These are games where you can pretend to be a person within the game.
Yeah.
and he had used this game to plan out strategies on how he can plan out his escape strategy, as well as simulate police responses, so he
That's
could
right.
get away with it. That's how he managed to murder.
That's
so
how
many
much he got
people.
out of the game.
Yeah. So we're going to be taking a look at a small video about the trial right now. Oh, actually, while our producer gets that ready, talking a little bit more about this. In 2006, this murderer, he moved into his mother's apartment, and to help him, get a little bit more time just
But
to
even
himself.
still,
Yeah.
I think even though his mom was anxious about his involvement with the game, he still continued it. I mean, he was so engrossed in it.
Yeah.
He keeps, I mean, there are so many accounts of how he planned the attack and how it really helped him to, like, inspired him for the murder.
Yeah, so
I think.
to take a look at that.
Now, continuing our chat, Pranita, we saw how the forensic psychologist there mentioned that how some people can or cannot distinguish between reality and fiction. At what age do you think that children have the ability of distinguishing between reality and that this is fiction? What age do you think that happens?
Ideally, for me, it's only going to be after 6 years, because between the ages of birth to 6 years, we see that the will development is just taking place, and a child is not able to decide what is good and bad and true and false. So because of that, we recommend parents to choose the right thing to do, because they are not in a position to decide. So in terms of thinking about the current situation, in Norway, we realize that this child, this man has had a very turbulent home life, and he has had a time where he has been disappointed and saddened and stuff like that. So all of these negative impacts in their life causes a huge issue where they cannot connect with reality, and they choose to take on the path of fantasy and stay there, simply because they do not want to deal with the hurts and the disappointments of reality. So operating from that place, you can do anything, for anything at all. Anything is possible with children who are disappointed. So parents have a huge role to play here, because emotional stability, after all, is the key to everything else. So if you are not emotionally stable, and if you have so much of disappointments, broken promises, neglect from parents, all of those contribute to the fact of making a human being, because you have to wait till 24 years to see who the adult is. So the child will become a violent person, or whatever we talk, between the ages of birth to 6, but they will commit the crime only when they are able to do that, when their mind is ready to do that. So that is the danger of introducing all of these fantasy, whatever the cartoons are, whatever fiction that the child is seeing at an early age.
So we have to kind of watch out and not get too addicted to it, because something like cartoons, unfortunately, is something that, because every child looks at it, you can't really say don't watch it.
Yes, you're right. But the fact is that I think there must be a balance. A cartoon should not be a getaway from a disappointment. A cartoon should be watched for amusement, not for a getaway.
I see. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Sarah. It has definitely been a very valuable discussion. Right now, we're going to go into a short commercial break. We'll see you guys on the other side with a lot more Good Morning Sri Lanka.